Thank you for joining me. This is Vicky from patternprincess.com. Today I have 3 variations of a colorful Crochet Sunshine Coaster pattern for you. I will be making the one here where we change color and have the orange in the middle, the yellow, and then the purple. As you can see, these two I don't change colors, but then you'll be able to see how the pattern works for all 3 of them. The actual colors that I use, this purple, well, what I call purple here, is actually a black currant, and it is peaches and cream. And to make 4 of these smaller ones, and then 3 of these, I'll be making a 4th one here today. So far, this is what's left out of 2 skeins of this. This is my first skein of the orange, and it's actually just called a bright orange, and it's from Peaches and Cream. And so you can see I have not even used a whole skein here yet. And then here is my Sunshine, and this is also Peaches and Cream. And of course, this is my first skein that I have started working with on this too. If you prefer to have written directions, the written directions are also on patternprincess.com. So we'll get started here. But if you'd like the written pattern, you can see that as well, and that is available for free for you. Hopefully you can make some of these beautiful items for yourself. I'm going to start off here with, this is how I do my slip knot. I actually just stick my fingers through, I loop the yarn, stick my fingers through, bring them around. So if you can see what I do, I just stick my finger through, put my 2 fingers around, and then I just grab one of the yarns and I pull it through, and I have my slip knot. That's what I do. And then my grandmother always taught me this, so this is how I hold my yarn. My grandmother taught me to put it through over my pinky and then again over this finger, and she had always said that it gives you more control. So now I'm going to chain 6. 1, 2, I have to yarn over and pull through, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we slip right back into the very first one here. And to be honest, if your chain twisted, it wouldn't really matter because we're just going to go over it. So now I have my little slip knot here, or my little circle. Now I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, because now I'm going to do 19 double crochets, and what we call it is inside this circle. So now I've yarned over, I'm going to insert my hook. You can see inside the circle. So here we go with 1, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2 again, 2, yarn over, pulling through 2, pulling through 2. So now I have my first chain 3 and 3 double crochet. Now it does get kind of tight in this circle, so, but I'm going to speed up a little bit more here just so I don't have to have the film run too long. 4. In fact, what I'll do, I tell you what, I'll come to the 19th, and when I'll turn it off, and I'll come back and I'll meet you back at the 19th, so I won't take up too much time here. Hold on. Okay, we're back. I have now done 18 of the double crochets around the circle. You can see how tightly close they are. So I'm going to do number 19. Yarn over, insert my hook. It gets kind of squeezy. All right, now I have them all, but it went over this line. Here we go. Now I'm going to, in the top stitch of my original chain 3, I'm going to insert my hook, grab my yarn, and just bring it through. This is called a slip stitch. All right, so now I've done my slip stitch. There are 19 double crochets, and then the first chain 3 counts as a double crochet. Now, as you notice, I'd also crocheted over this tail here. Eventually then I can just cut that tail off when it's time. However, if you take a look, this pattern here just has this circle. See that circle line up? Just has his circle in the middle. This one here has yellow. So I had started with yellow, I don't know, it's actually the Sunshine. Started with a Sunshine here, and I just kept going. So this is, you made your beginning chain, then we did our double crochets, and you can see there's one more row here of yellow. So at this point, for this one, I'm going to switch to the yellow. Now, I did a couple variations of color changes, and I didn't like how it turned out. I could see where the color changed. So I'm going to show you, and I like to leave kind of a tail on my yarn because later on it's easier to weave in. I'm done with this orange now, and now we're going to go to our yellow. But what I found when I did it this way, it works really nice later for when you sew in your ends, because you really can't tell where I started and stopped this yellow on this orange, right? Well, when I first did it, you could tell, and I really didn't like it at all. So this is how I decided I did it. It took me a couple tries to figure this out. So, okay, so here's my ending where I stopped with a slip stitch. I'm just going to put my yarn through here. That's all I did, pull it through. And I'm pulling this tight. Okay. Make sure I have my right yarn here. Hold on. Okay. So now I'm going to start my next row out. I'm not going to make any knot. When I come back later, and I sew in my ends now, I use my yarn needle and I sew in my ends, making sure that you sew like the orange in with the orange and the yellow in with the yellow. I'll make sure that I tighten this up again just before I do it, because it sometimes comes a little bit loose. Okay, so now we're on to our yellow here. And gosh, I had my thing, and now I messed it up here. Hang on. Okay. So where I start here. Oh my gosh. All right. 1, gonna chain 3, 2, 3. Then in this space right here, right next to your chain, I'm going to, right here, can you see that space? I'm going to double crochet. Then I'm going to chain 2. 1, 2. Yarn over, and the next top of the next space through both top loops, I'm going to do a double crochet. It messed up on me. Then 1 more double crochet. Then chain 2. 1, 2. Then a double crochet in the next stitch. This is the same pattern. I will follow through double crochet. Then chain 2. Then 2 double crochets. Then chain 2, 2 double crochets. Chain 2, 2 double crochets. I'm going to finish this and I'll meet you back at the corner here when I end up doing the slip stitch. Okay, I'm down to my last 2 double crochets. I've done my chain 2 here. I'm going to double crochet here, double crochet here, and then we have our first initial chain 3, and you can tell that this is where the stitch belongs. If you take it comes out of this chain right here, or this stitch I should say. So then I'm going to chain 2, because we've done our 2 double crochets. Here's our chain 2, so I chain 2, and now I'm going to slip stitch it into the top of this one right here, and we are done with our, whoopsies, we are done with, I hit that thing, sorry. We are done with our yellow. So you can see the chain 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2 all the way around this. Okay, and now we're ready to add our purple. So I'm going to quickly add the purple. Okay, I'm back with the purple. Now I've just brought it through this loop right here so far. So I'm going to pull this tight. And I'm going to tighten this up. Now, here's a trick. So on the previous row, I started my row off with my first chain 3. When I tried to do that here, because our next double crochets we're going to be crocheting inside of this loop, it looked funny right here. You could see where this one here just was a chain 3 starting off, and well, I guess I'm more picky about my work. I wanted it to look like the rest of them. So then I messed around with it and I thought, okay, here's how I'm going to start this one off. So you got your purple, or whatever color that is. I can't remember, black currant I think they said. I call it purple. So anyway, you go in here, grab the yarn, pull it through, and complete like a single crochet, all right? And getting it through all the hole. Then I'm going to 2 more chains. This is going to count as your first chain 3 of this row. So we're actually, this is row 1. We're actually into row 2 here. If you want to count that initial chain 6 as a row, then we'd actually be row 4. So depending on how you look at it. But anyway, so I've done the initial chain 3, but you can see it wraps around here, and I don't know. I think it helps it look nice at the very end, because if you take a look, at this finished product here, you can't see where I started and stopped. And that's my goal. So anyway, so what we're going to do, yarn over, go into your first spot where you had the chain 2, and we're going to do 2 double crochet, and then chain 2, 1, 2, 2 double crochet, same hole yet, and then we're going to go to our next hole, yarn over, and then we're going to do this in each hole, 2 double crochet, 2 chains, and 2 double crochet. We are going to do that in each hole. So I'm going to do that along the, oopsies, I didn't get it through all of the yarn. There we go. I'm going to do this all the way around, and I'm going to meet you back over here. Okay, I'm starting to go into the last section here. As you can see, I've worked the double crochet, chain 2, double crochet all the way around, and I'm now into my last spot. This is where I did that initial, it was like a single crochet and then 2 chains. So I'm going to go into that section now. So yarn over, double crochet, and then 2 chains, and then a double crochet, and then I'm going to insert my hook into that top chain again. And sometimes it's kind of hard to insert your hook. You kind of dig for it. And then I'm going to do a slip stitch. So another row is completed. So now I'll show you where we are in this. See, we just completed this row. Pull that tight. Now if I was making this one, remember I did not change that yellow color. Here's where we would be here, and then this size pattern, this size coaster here is smaller, but this is, you can see the coaster. This one here, I figured it was just a complete, it's a little bit smaller. You can see it by my hand size, about the size that it is. This one here, you could stop. You could have the sun, the sunburst yellow, or I should say the yellow just around the edge and the orange in the middle. So you could stop and just have it like this. You can change out any colors that you would like. It's very versatile. But I just thought that this is just a nice size. It's a nice version of it. It was fun to make. And so you can kind of see where we are at this pattern. Now I have the scallop on the edge to add on. So we're going to start our last row. Get my hook inserted here. So we're going to just, in this little stitch right here, right next to my hook, I'm just going to put my hook through, yarn over, and complete a single crochet. Then I'm going to yarn over, and then again in my chain 2 space from the previous row, I'm going to do 7 double crochets, and it does get kind of tight in each one. So 1, here we go, 2, 3, 4, 5, and my yarn is tangling up on my finger. There we go. 6. Hoping you can see one little string. It's the only thing I don't like about some of the cotton threads sometimes is that you get the strings that hang out there and you got to really watch. So I made 7. So now we got the space in between right here where the previous row double crochets meet. Right in there you do a single crochet. So I'm going to insert my hook right here. Insert it, or not a double crochet, I'm sorry, a single crochet right here. Then I yarn over and I do 7 double crochets. I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around. 5, I'm counting, 6, 7. Okay, and then again, single crochet in here. So I'm going to go around and I'm going to meet you at the end over here. Okay, we're in the last part here. This is the last chain 2 area. So I'm going to finish it up with 7 double crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And then right in that spot right here, just like we had been where we started off, I'm going to actually bring my yarn through and do a slip stitch, but I just put the yarn like that at the moment. I'm going to leave a nice long tail so I have enough to weave in my ends with my yarn needle. And I'm just going to pull this through. And then when I weave in the ends, you notice I have them all kind of on the back. I'm going to weave them around to the different colors on the back, and I go up and down. Sometimes I'll go back and forth like a row or two. Like here, like this one, this orange, I'd probably bring down, go under a couple, bring back up, go over, bring back down, and maybe go back up a couple times. Just to when your yarn needle kind of starts to get kind of snug, then I feel safe cutting it off. But that is complete. And of course, look at how much yarn I still have. And I did like to use the cotton yarn on this because I think it's going to soak up any kind of liquid better if somebody does have a drink that sweats on my table. So I now have 4 of these made. I just have to do my yarn on the one. 4 of these made. And then 4 of these. Now, of course, I'm off of work today. I've done these all in one day. As you can tell, I haven't done much else. I should be cleaning my house, but there's always time for that. I did spend an hour cleaning my house, so I would feel less guilty. But of course, I'd always rather be crocheting. So hopefully you will too, and hopefully this will inspire you to make some for yourself. Again, you'll find the written pattern for free at patternprincess.com. I thank you for spending some time with me, and hopefully you've learned how to make one for yourself. I know that I'll be enjoying these, and I'm going to be experimenting, seeing what else I can make with some different patterns and making stuff up and putting some other colors together. Thank you very much.